uncover secrets only the observant hear. Ravenclaw House has stood for generations as a sanctuary of knowledge and imagination. Its doors have opened to those with nimble minds, sharp tongues, and an unyielding thirst for truth. But the story of Ravenclaw is not only one of wisdom. It is one of solitude, brilliance, obsession, loss, and light. One cannot speak of Ravenclaw without speaking of its founder's greatest sorrow. Rowena had a daughter, Helena, bright, gifted, and beautiful. Yet Helena lived in her mother's immense shadow, yearning to forge her own path. In an act of quiet rebellion, Helena stole the diadem, believing it would grant her the wisdom to become greater than even her mother. She fled across seas, and there, in a faraway forest, she met her end, killed by the man who loved her, a fellow Hogwarts ghost known today as the Bloody Baron. Helena returned to Hogwarts in spectral form, becoming the Grey Lady, the ghost of Ravenclaw House. Her presence is quiet, sorrowful, and watchful, and her tale became a lesson woven deep into Ravenclaw's legacy, that even the pursuit of wisdom can turn to tragedy if it is chased without balance. Yet despite this loss, Ravenclaw House endured, growing ever more revered for its ideals. Its students were not only studious, but often eccentric, free thinkers who challenged authority and asked difficult questions. Some were inventors, some were visionaries, others became seers, philosophers, and scholars whose ideas reshaped magical understanding for centuries. Perhaps no symbol better represents this than the riddle door that guards the Ravenclaw common room. Unlike the others, this entrance requires no password. It simply asks a question. To enter Ravenclaw Tower, one must think, must engage, must wonder. It is a door that admits only those who pause, reflect, and answer wisely. Inside, the common room is a place unlike any other at Hogwarts. Spacious and serene, lit by moonlight pouring through arched windows. It looks out over the Scottish Highlands. Domed ceilings painted with stars, shelves filled with books, ancient and obscure, and the quiet rustle of quills and thought fill the air. It is is a space of stillness where the mind is free to wander and where imagination is both the spark and the reward. Ravenclaws have left profound marks on magical history, from the brilliant Garrick Ollivander, who revolutionized wand lore with precision and artistry, to Ignatia Wildsmith, inventor of flue powder, whose innovation reshaped magical transportation, to Luna Lovegood, unconventional, insightful, and profoundly wise in her own way, who reminded the wizarding world that understanding doesn't always come from books, but often from empathy, curiosity, and fearless individuality. But to say Ravenclaws are merely smart is to misunderstand them entirely. True Ravenclaws are not simply memorizers or know-it-alls. They are those who dare to ask the questions others are afraid to voice, who look at the impossible and whisper, "But what if?" They dwell in the space between logic and intuition, science and art, fact and belief. It is said that in every age, it is Ravenclaws who see the first flicker of change, long before it takes root in the world. And yet, there is a solitude to Ravenclaw. Many who enter its halls feel out of step with the world below. They are often misunderstood, deemed odd, cold, or distant. But in truth, their minds are simply elsewhere, grappling with mysteries most cannot even perceive. There is power in that silence, in the willingness to sit with unknowing, in the courage to think alone. Some say Ravenclaws walk the thin line between brilliance and madness, and perhaps they do. But in that balance lies something extraordinary, a perspective unbound by convention, expectation, or fear. Ravenclaw's legacy is also marked by those who used their intellect for darker ends. Some Ravenclaws have become obsessed with knowledge, blind to morality. Others have used logic to justify cruelty. But the house has always risen above these falls, not by turning away from them, but by confronting them, by teaching that intellect must be tempered by wisdom, and knowledge guided by compassion. There are whispers that deep within the stone of the tower, there lies a hidden chamber known only to a handful across the centuries. Within it are said to be enchanted manuscripts penned by Rowena herself, sealed with riddles so complex that only a chosen few may ever unlock them. They contain, legend says, questions, who dream up solutions with patience, and who quietly revolutionize the world from the shadows. Ravenclaws today are not bound by stereotype. Some are loud, eccentric, full of wild invention. Others are introverted, methodical, and calm. All are united by that inner fire, the need to know, to understand, to see beyond the veil of the obvious and seek the truth, no matter how hidden it lies. They are not the loudest, but they are often the first to see. And once seen, the world is never quite the same. To be Ravenclaw is to dwell in the space between stars and stone, to live a life of questions, quiet breakthroughs, and unseen victories, to read the world like a puzzle and find wonder in its patterns, to embrace solitude not as loneliness, but as a sacred place of reflection and growth. To be Ravenclaw is to believe that every mystery has a key, and that the mind, when guided by heart, is the greatest magic of all. The eagle does not roar. It soars in silence, seeing further than others dare to look. Its wings carry not just pride, but perspective. And so, the Ravenclaw common room still glows with a gentle, moonlit clarity. Its walls murmur the secrets of centuries past, and the dreams of futures yet imagined. And every student who steps through its arched door is asked the same unspoken question: how will you use your mind? What will you dare to understand? And will you, in the quiet, dare to soar?